Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Teachable Moment on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with Dr. Mekia Troy, but we're going to give a shout out to our 8 sponsors. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. You should be using them too. So listen to our shout outs, listen to Dr. Troy, of course, and then go check out these sponsors. You're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We'd like to say thank you to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more support, more security, and more customization. Go to hometownticketing.com to find the best online ticketing solution for you. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Gipper. Go to gipper.com and you can start to create world-class marketing content for your school. Celebrate your athletes and promote your teams with Gipper.com. It's used and trusted by over 3,000 high school and college programs across the country. It's professional graphic design made simple. Once again, go to Gipper.com to get started. We want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to get started. We want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that let them coach our kids up to their highest level. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to say thanks to Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks on a fundraiser and then had little, if any, return on your investment? Stop right here. Go to snapraise.com. Hands down, the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with tremendous success. Our parents loved it. Our coaches loved it. It works. Go to snapraise.com. Check out their other platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you found it. Go to snapraise.com. We want to say thank you to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to tell your school's story, showcase your best athletes, and bring your school's legacy to life. That's sidelineinteractive.com. Check them out today. We want to thank Home Campus for their support. Home Campus is a platform that I used every single day, and so will you. Things like scheduling, student athlete eligibility and clearance. Who doesn't do that every day? Communication with coaches, with parents, with kids, with your state association, uploading rosters and digital forms. If you're an athletic director, Home Campus is going to make your job easier. It's going to allow you to do things faster and more efficiently. That's homecampus.com. And finally, we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your coaches, your parents, or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Athletic directors already hear from the complainers, the people who want to gripe about everything. Athletic surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that supports your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to help you take your athletic program from good to great. Welcome back, everybody, to session number 30 of Teachable Moment with Dr. Mekia Troy from Creekside High School in Georgia. We've been doing this now for 30 weeks. We started all the way back in August 31st for session 1. And every week, Dr. Troy has shared her heart and her wisdom with our listeners. And we're We're excited and maybe a little bit sad that we've reached session number 30. But here's the good news. Coming, let's say, later this summer, we're putting all 30 segments into a book. I'm going to guess it's going to be called Teachable Moment by Dr. Mekia Troy. And that's going to be available on Amazon, just like all of our other podcast books. So, again, it's been great to have Dr. Troy and all of her wisdom with us for the past 30 weeks, but we're going to be moving on, but not so fast. We still got her for one more segment. So, Dr. Troy, welcome back. And I've been saying this for 30 weeks. What do you have for our listeners on Teachable Moment?
Thank you so much. Good to be back. Well, today I want to reflect back on my days playing college basketball and my coach who would come into the locker room and leave a note on the board that what he called, they were the keys to the game. And these keys would be specific notes about our opponent, but it would also finish with play hard, play smart. And I kind of adopted that when I became a coach myself. However, I added a piece to that. Play hard, play smart, have fun. Because you need to do that. And I'd like to take that same approach as an athletic administrator to just recognize that we have to work hard and work smart, but also still have fun in doing this job that we do. There are so many people that rely on us and that are pulling on us. And there are multiple sports going on at a time, and so many student athletes and all of the parents that accompany them. This is not a job that is for the weak, but we owe it to the people that are relying on us to be our best and to give the best that we can. And I believe that hard work is going to be rewarded, even if you don't see the results immediately. You just don't stop. You keep going. You work hard and do your best. It's like that person that's working out. They don't give up and quit after one sit-up when they don't see a six-pack abs in one sit-up. You keep going, you keep working. So the same here. We have to keep going, even if we don't immediately see the fruits of our labor. There are benefits and rewards that'll come from that if you just keep going. And while you're working hard, it's also important that we work smart, that we have the opportunity to delegate some responsibilities. Everything doesn't have to have our hand on it at all times. So you want to work smart, prioritize your tasks, and tackle some of the more pressing issues as early as you can to give yourself some time. And when it's necessary, of course, you want to be able to regroup and recharge and just take a step back as needed. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a vacation, but it can just be a timeout. And going back to my basketball days, you know when it's time for a timeout, whether it's a full one or a 30, you might have to just take a moment to say, okay, I just need a quick breather to try to refresh myself, to bring my best self back into the game. And it makes a difference when you have that moment to just kind of regroup, refresh, and be ready to go, the same way you would in any athletic event. And then lastly, of course, you have got to have fun. I don't know if I could do the job if I didn't enjoy myself while I was doing the job. We get to work in an occupation that is about kids playing games. How much more fun is that? You're helping kids to play games. Yes, our job is serious. Yes, we have great responsibilities, and some people get really focused on what it takes to win scholarships, what it takes to win championships, and it can really drain the fun out of what it is that we do. And sometimes you have to take a step back and recognize, hey, this is a game. Games should be fun. It doesn't mean you don't work hard. Doesn't mean you don't sweat and give it your all, but this should be something that's enjoyable. And in our position, we have the opportunity to help our coaches recognize that it's okay to keep the fun factor as a part of what our student athletes are doing. They should enjoy this experience, because if they don't, we're going to lose participants. And if we lose participants, then what do we do? So it's important that we make sure that in the midst of it all, we are still finding ways to have fun in what we're doing and helping our coaches be able to show the benefit of our student athletes having fun and enjoying themselves in what they do for us. So those are the keys to the game that I have for our athletic administrators. Work hard, work smart, but at the end of the day, make sure that you're having fun.
I love all the keys. I love the fact that you're, keeping that legacy of your coach going in your program. And the fun part, I think it's something that maybe in the last couple of years, more ADs and coaches have come to realize how important it is. 100 years ago, when I was in school, um, I don't know if any of our coaches thought about, well, geez, what am I going to do to make practice fun today? It was just practice. But back then, practice was fun because it was really one of the only things you could do. Nowadays, kids have so many other choices, and that's good. They have choices. So we need to figure out how to let them see those fun aspects of hard work and sacrifice and dedication and commitment, how those can be fun. And I think the AD and the coach that embrace that, as you obviously have, that's why you're going to have the success. So, very cool stuff. Okay. Well, like I said, this is our, I'm trying to think of the last word. It's our 30th segment, but it's certainly not the last time or the final time we're going to have Dr. Mekia Troy on the podcast. I'm going to put you on the spot now. We didn't talk about this. Okay. Looking back at your 30 segments, does one of them stick out for you that you they were all great, and they're all, for our listeners, they're going to be in a book, but does one stick out as maybe when you were done with that, boy, I didn't realize I was going to share that, or just anything stick out? Any final words for our listeners?
Yeah, I don't even remember the week, but going back to juggling priorities, it made me remember the video of myself juggling the basketballs from years ago. But hey, it's what we do. We keep things moving. Got to keep it afloat.
Yeah, and I remember you actually posted that video, the actual video of you juggling, and got quite a bit of positive comments, from our podcast fans. Well, Mekia, thanks again for spending these 30 weeks with our listeners and sharing your heart and sharing your wisdom. I'm excited to see the book come out again for our listeners. We're planning on maybe mid-summer, but we will definitely get the notice out so you have plenty of time to get the 30 chapters of Dr. Mekia's book, Teachable Moments. So, Mekia, thanks again, and all the best as we continue with spring sports.
Thank you so much for everything, Jake. Really appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. For listeners, as always, we want to remind you the video recordings of our podcast get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We'll have a new series coming out soon. That's going to be announced, but we still put out new content just about every day. We say we like to share best practices. We want to share them with you. So thanks for listening, but come back next time for another session of the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again. Well, that was fun. I'm looking forward to our next series. We've got a couple things in mind, but if you think you've got a good idea for a podcast series or a podcast guest, maybe you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, reach out to me. My email is jakestouchdown. That's all one word, jakestouchdown at gmail.com. Also, my cell phone, 305-218-1325. On social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. But we'd love to have you on the podcast. So let us know your thoughts. Before we go, as always, our sponsors make this possible. We want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com, start creating world-class content for your school social media channel. We want to thank Home Campus. If you're an athletic director, you should be using Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com to get started. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. Athletic surveys. If you're not using a survey, you need to start. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Want to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. You've heard me say before, one of the best purchases I ever made was a Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. And finally, if you're looking for a fundraiser, stop looking. Snap Race. is the best online fundraiser out there. Go to snapraise.com to get started raising money. This has been a Teachable Moment with Dr. Mekia Troy on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.